Hey, what's going on, guys? This is KNasty3890 here with another Madden Ultimate Team 16 video. Today we're going to be talking about positional heroes and how you can make coins with the positional heroes, especially if you're not going to do the set. So basically, if you want to just get some extra coins on the side, I can talk about what cards that you might want to invest in for this. And we're going to talk about based on what we got from the first two sets, the tight end and the left outside linebacker. We can use that knowledge to kind of figure out what to do. We're going to which players to go for on the next one. So first, let's talk about last week's positional heroes because there has been a little bit of information, I guess you could say, on Twitter, talking about the Delaney Walker and Anthony Barr sets. Now, you know, if you don't already, there was a collectible right here, left outside linebacker collectible. Right now, it doesn't really go for a ton. It goes for, I think, around, 60? Yeah, 60K. The tight end's like 30K because the left outside linebacker, Anthony Barr, is a lot better. Apparently, there's so much outrage on Twitter on Sunday that Billy, who works at EA Sports, said that the feedback was heard, quote unquote. I think that's exactly what the tweet said. So hopefully what they're going to do is what they did the last couple years of the positional sets, is that there's a solo, but you get there's a collectible, but you get the collectible via solo, which means the coins that it costs to put towards that collectible will go into other cards, which are basically these cards. A little bit of the wild card cards, like any elite left outside linebacker, any gold outside linebacker. But if you guys have been looking at this set, the one card, like all these cards are relatively cheap. The Peppers is like 20, Kerrigan, Gillette, and Collins are like 15. These golds are like 3K. The Elite you can get for like 10 to 15K a pop. I mean, they add up over time, definitely. But the one card that's really expensive, Justin Houston. And he's going for around 140, 150,000 according to MUT head right now on the PS4. You know what he was going for a week ago at this time? On February 10th, which is in today's February 16th, so 6 days ago, on the PS4, he was going for 30,000 coins. That's about 100,000 coins after tax. If you bought them for 30 and then sold them for like 150, about 100K you get after tax. So that's where your profit's going to be made. And now without that collectible, which people were paying like 100, 150,000 coins on that first day, that's going to go into all the cards, but will especially those coins will go back into that big expensive card. And the tight end sense like that as well. Not as much to an extent because the tight end card isn't really like a card that people want. Delaney Walker's a nice player, but I mean his stats are actually really good. You look at the card, and you're like, why don't people really love that card? The reason is because he's only 6 feet tall. I mean, you want your tight ends to be 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". He's only 6 feet, but the road to playoff, Delaney Walker still over 100K and 110K, and before he was I think around like 50 or 60, so he's doubled in price. So that's where you're gonna get your coins. I mean, obviously if you buy all these elites here, you'll make a little bit. Like I had Jimmy Collins, and he doubled in price. He went from like an 8,000 to like a 16,000 coin card. But I mean, if you buy a lot of them, of course you'll make a little bit. But in Madden, you want to go big or go home. So I'm going to tell you guys why I think certain cards might be rare. So what we need to talk about is like what positional heroes people are going to want. For instance, the tight end Delaney Walker people don't want as much because it's a tight end that's 6 feet. People want the Anthony Barr because he's got 95 speed. So you can see the logic behind that being more expensive, and that's why the collectible is more expensive. But let's say EA gets it right and they put the collectible into a solo, and we're going to assume that because it sounds like they want to fix it. We know more coins will go into cards. Now, we also have to assume with that knowledge that they're not going to change anything else to the set. Maybe they had Team of the Week and Football Outsiders, maybe not, I don't know. But let's just say they don't for argument's sake because the complaint wasn't about the lack of Team of the Week or Football Outsiders on Twitter on Sunday. It was the fact of this positional collectible in a solo. Or not in a solo. So I was just looking at cards and trying to figure out which ones could we want. And I'm thinking people are going to want the wide receivers. I mean, hopefully we get a Calvin Johnson. I think he'll probably be like I'll get like a Charles Woodson tribute card because he's retiring. But we're going to be thinking, well, what wide receiver is going to jump from like a 30K card to a 150, 200,000 coin card? And there was a couple that came to mind. I was thinking, because I think Dez Bryant's going to get the position. He hasn't got an upgraded card, and they don't really go based off like your stats at all for a position. It's going to go after based off cards people want. I mean, I was thinking either AJ Green or Dez Bryant are the two guys who will get it. Now, maybe their card won't be in it, but if that's the card, people are going to want AJ Green. People are going to want a Dez Bryant. as long as the receiver is like a big name and it's relatively good stats, people are gonna want that card. I don't think it's gonna be Calvin. I think it's gonna get his own positional. So I mean, I would say buy like 2 or 3 Des Bryants if you have the coins. Like I got over 2 million coins. I'm probably gonna invest in several Des Bryants for like 30, 40K. I'm probably gonna buy an Odell Beckham Jr. or two just in case, 88 overall one, because if you hit, you're going to get a huge amount. And if you don't, sell them. Just sell them for like, I mean, you may lose a couple thousand coins and then a couple thousand after tax. So you maybe you can either lose 20K or you can then sell it and make 300K. And even if that card's not in the set, it's going to be a wild card. Now, I doubt people are going to be buying the higher wide receivers to finish that. For the wild card elites, people are going to be buying like the base Jordy Nelsons, the base T.Y. Hiltons, the Pierre Garçons, road to the playoffs, like those cards. But a position that I want you guys not to sleep on, I think this positional card is going to be really expensive because there's no good right guards in the game right now. I mean, when you think about it, Larry Allen's still 600K. I mean, TJ Lang is a 40K card. He's not even that good. Zach Martin, I still use because if you look at all the good right guards, there's not really any good statistical like with back of the card stats. So I think like this TJ Lang guys, I'm gonna buy several of these. I'm gonna sit on the auction house and buy them. I think he's gonna be rare when that drops. I think he's gonna be the card because based off how the Derek Johnson was, like there's not an upgraded card. I don't believe there's an upgraded TJ Lang because there's only one Derek Johnson. I think there's only one TJ Lang. And I think just invest in those cards. Worst case scenario, you sell them just for, I mean, maybe you can wait and sell them for about the price you got, then you just lose the tax. So if you buy him for 40, he sells for 40, you lose 4,000 coins. I think that's worth the risk. But I really think this is something you guys can invest in. Now, if you don't have the coins for this, well, you're thinking, how can you get some of these cards? Well, I got an answer for you. Actually, if you look in the description of this video, I actually stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/KNasty3890. We do giveaways almost every stream. And giveaways, I mean, we do a ton of them. We'll do a ton of gameplay tips, everything you want. So make sure you guys check that out. You can definitely win cards that will go into positional sets. I guarantee it. But yeah, like I said, right guard, cornerback, there's going to be cornerbacks are cards that people always want. And I'm probably going to invest in like base Richard Sherman, base Darrelle Revis. Like those cards I think are going to be expensive. Vontae Davis. I'm trying to think of another base card. Joe Hayden, maybe not. And even they might do some like, I was thinking they might do Josh Norman, but I think that card's already too expensive. If we go the road to playoff, let's go. We want to go to the 90-91. Kind of like we're comparing like the Delaney Walker, and this is kind of like the Delaney Walker card. I don't think there's any up. Cause I think is Josh Norman in 89? Josh Norman might be in 89, his road to playoff card. But that card is still well over 100K. I mean, if he goes in that set, that card's going to be like 250,000, 300,000 coins. Yeah, Josh Norman right now is 150K. If that is in the positional and you get like a 90, let's say if you get like a 98 Darrelle Revis, or you get like a 97 Joe Hayden, 98 Joe Hayden, and this is the main card to put in it, this Josh Norman's 300K. You double your coins. Maybe it's 400K. Now there is, like I said, there's a risk in it, but it's not a huge risk. These cards won't lose a ton of value because they're still good cards. Like the base Des Bryant, people want a Des, so that's not a bad card to invest in. But this is kind of the idea, guys. I'm going to buy a lot of these. Like this Brent Grimes, I might buy a couple. He might kind of be like Delaney Walker that goes from like 30 to like 50 to like 100. He might go from like 30 to like 110 because it's a corner. Corners are going to be really sought after, and there's going to be 2 of them. There's going to be 2 wide receivers and 2 corners. So that's kind of the idea, guys, what I'm trying to talk about. Just like invest in these higher elite cards, but not like they're not the 91s, 92s, 93s. They're low, like usually like 90 or lower. For instance, the Rob Gronkowski was not in the tight end set, even though he was a base elite. There wasn't a Von Miller in the left outside linebacker set who's a 90. It was the 89s. So it's not the best card. It's one of those best cards. So if you invest in all of them, in one of each, I think you guys are going to hit some big home runs. And usually, at least they did for this week, they announced the card the day before, or they announced the positions. It got leaked on Twitter that was a left outside linebacker and a tight end on Saturday. So if you know Saturday night, okay, they're doing let's say a left tackle and a defensive end, a left end. Go buy the like a left tackle. I'm trying to think of an elite left tackle. Let's go look right now. We'll go to the base elite. Let's go left tackles that are 85 to 89. Like a Joe Thomas comes to mind. I think he's a 90. He might He may not be the one. Maybe it's Jason Peters. Jason Peters right now is going for 30K, 25, 30K. That might be the card. Tyron Smith might be a card. I mean, he's only at 85. He's a really good one. That might be the card that's really expensive. And left tackles, people want to run the ball. People want to pass. You want to have a good tackle. There are a lot of left tackles, so maybe not as expensive as like right guard. That still is going to go up in value though, guys. So I hope this helps. Comment if you guys have any other ideas or what cards you think might be expensive. Maybe we can get some other people some ideas. Like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new. I appreciate the love, guys. Take it easy and have a good one. See ya.